Hello everyone, this is Korosh Erfani and today is Saturday, January 3rd, 2026. So we got breaking news. As you know, United States attacked Venezuela and tried to capture President Maduro and his wife, and it was successfully done, and they brought these two persons in the United States here. And as you can see, President Trump is telling us that the US will run Venezuela, which means that we are taking in control the management of the country. We will provide everything that Venezuela needs, and so on and so on. So running Venezuela means what I am doing as president for the United States, right? Running the United States. So as I had created here, a kind of glorious period of time, and that is called Golden Age, and everything is fine in the United States. So I have the ability to do the same thing for you guys in Venezuela. So there was an impediment, which was President Maduro. So we captured him and we put it in jail or somewhere, and then that would be your golden age, Venezuela's golden age. So many people are talking about the strategy, the United States strategy for the Caribbean region, for the Western Hemisphere, things like that. But I don't think so. There is nothing strategic in this move. That's the first point I would like to develop with you. I don't see in this attack any strategic characteristic, because usually a strategy means that you know exactly why you are doing something, how you are doing this, and what is the perspective, for all the complication and the challenges that are coming. But you don't see that. It's just a coup. That's just the method of Donald Trump, show off, spectacle, making something that can make a lot of noises across the world, putting him at the center of the attention, and then nothing. In a few days, maybe we are not talking about that anymore. So in this case, what's the strategy finally? If it's tactical, it should be a tactical part or component of a strategy. Yeah, there is a strategy which I call strategy of chaos and terror. And this strategy doesn't have anything with the United States only and lonely, but with Israel. That's the strategy of Israel as the Zionist entity that wants to take care of the whole Middle East in order to create the greater Israel, and then to do a lot of other things in order to finally create the Judaic supremacy across the world, over the world, and make whatever it wants with humanity, with the planet, and other apocalyptic ideas. So the strategy of chaos and terror has been set by the Zionists from, we can say, long ago, but mainly from October 7, 2023. That's the idea of, from now on, we will spread chaos everywhere, in Gaza, in the West Bank, in Lebanon, in Syria, in Iran, and everywhere. And from this chaos, we try to take advantage. So the United States is following the same steps, set by Israel, and trying the same thing. So Israel says that I can do whatever I want without having to answer to anyone in this planet, right? United Nations, Security Council of the United Nations, or any international court, international institution, nothing, international law or the things like that. No, Israel says that as I am, the God's chosen people, I can do whatever I want, right? So the United States is imitating somehow, is copycatting what Israel is doing. So if Israel can bomb anywhere, in the Middle East, any country, why not us? Right? So that's why for the first year of Trump's presidency, we can see 7 countries have been bombed already. Which means that the Israelization of the United States is in process, right? And everything is fine. And the case of the Venezuela is just the beginning of spreading chaos across the whole Caribbean region, the whole South America, and even beyond. Now, many analysts are talking about the eagerness of the United States for the Venezuela's oil, which is the biggest reserve on the planet. That's true, but it's not really something immediately needed for the United States. So that's why I don't find anything that can present a kind of emergency or absolute necessity for this action. And from that moment we can have an idea about the hidden reason, the hidden causes that are pushing the United States to do so. For example, we got the news yesterday, according to which the national debt of the United States is going right now is $38.5 trillion. Is going to get on October 2026 to $40 trillion, which means that a great part of the income of the United States government, which is by tax, and anything else, tariffs, taxes, will be just dedicated to the payment of the interest for this national debt, something like every year 2 trillion or beyond, just for the interest of this huge colossal number. So technically the United States is bankrupt. The United States economy is bankrupt. Why? Because the country as an entity is producing something like $24 trillion as the GDP, gross domestic product, and it has something like almost twice just national debt, which means the money that it has to pay effectively to all those who have the treasury boundaries or other sorts of the U.S. Treasury values. So, if the American economy is bankrupt, potentially, right? Theoretically, it's bankrupt, and if all the genius ideas of Mr. Trump and his team couldn't bring about anything positive, but only and only negative, like inflation, like recessions, like the rise of unemployment, like the loss of healthcare coverage by millions and millions of Americans, what to do? What do we have to do? Accepting the reality that we have failed and giving up and handing out the power to our competitors? No. This is exactly what they want to avoid. Maybe you have already heard in my previous videos in 2025, I was telling you several times that there won't be any election for 2026. I said that the midterm election in November 2026 won't take place. That was my prediction. That's why my my idea. Why? Because we know that with this poor and extremely disastrous a complete failure of Mr. Trump for the economy, for the American economy, the result of the election will be completely negative, right? So the Republicans are losing the majority, and the Democrat can have a huge majority that will open the way for President Trump's impeachment. So Trump knows that, and the Zionist team that brought him to the White House knows that. By the way, as you maybe noticed, for a few days from the day Netanyahu came to the United States for the last time on Monday, past Monday, we didn't hear anything about Epstein file. Right? The Epstein file suddenly disappeared. Why? Because everything is now okay between Netanyahu and President Trump, and because he is giving the green light to anything Israel wants. Of course, we don't need really to talk about the Epstein file anymore for now, unless there is something about which Israel needs again to put pressure on President Trump, and of course we are going to have the Epstein files again. But keep in your mind that if President Trump wants to thwart, wants to dismantle completely this institution that is called democratic election in the United States, what does it have to do just to put, the country, the whole country, and also the region in a chaotic situation? Just pushing effectively anything in chaos in such a way that he can, and I think starting from January 2nd, January 3rd, right now, with this momentum, it would be very easy from January, February, March, or something like that, to announce effectively the state of emergency for the whole United States, for the whole country. State of emergency means effectively putting the country in suspicion, in such a way that there won't be any elections, any usual, process. And of course, thanks to that, they can completely silence the media, mainstream media, social media. They can arrest some, let's say, a few million people if necessary. Anything is allowed, authorized, thanks to emergency situation. So just imagine the empire, the American empire, is we can say on the verge of collapse. We don't have any doubt about that, because when you see that the economy, we are talking about the first economy of the world, is going down, is declining completely. So we understand that the infrastructure, what is, as the foundation of the empire, is collapsing. The American economy, the American dollar is collapsing, is falling. And of course, everyone can see your policies as the main cause of the acceleration of this process of collapse, right? So that's why they will be against you. they will be angry on you. And what is going on is that they are ready, the people, millions and millions are ready to, give the Congress to your opponent in order to remove you from the White House. So can you imagine someone who lost the election in the normalest form and way possible in 2020, didn't stop to say, even today, that was a rigged election and it was not justified and so on. Can you imagine that such a person, and right now in a complete disastrous mental situation, can accept that everything goes off from his control, and the country, because the people want democracy, can be, in the hands of opponent, and they will try to remove it by impeachment or something like that. No, I don't think so. Israel doesn't want that. Israel is controlling the United States. We know that the real president of the United States is Stephen Miller, and Trump is just the show-off man, right? The showman, just for exhibition and nothing else. So the agenda of Israel is very simple. It wants to be able to bomb completely the Middle East, to destroy all the countries of that region, starting with Iran. After having effectively destroyed Palestine, Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, is now the turn of Iran to be completely erased. At least this is what Israel wants. So it cannot do that if we have a very normal situation across the world. And on the global scene, there is no other war, there is no other military conflict, and all the attentions is on the Middle East, and Israel is on the crosshairs of the international community's attention. No, it's impossible. Right? So that's the reason why Israel needs several wars, many wars across the world, in such a way that when it starts to bomb Iran, most probably, I am predicting it again, most probably with the nuclear weapon, with the nuclear bombs, nobody pays attention. Why? Because everybody is taken and engrasped with a regional war somewhere. For example, here with Venezuela, Cuba, Colombia, Mexico, why not? So everybody here will be busy with the stupid war of the United States against all this country. Another war will be with the European countries of NATO and Russia. Very soon we are going to have the high degree of hostility in Europe, and of course another war in the South Asia between Taiwan and its defenders, Japan, South Korea, United States, Australia, and so on, and on the other hand China and North Korea. So just imagine this chaotic situation, this apocalyptic setting we are talking about. Of course, once the world is in this situation, it's a normal event, a small event, just to hear that Israel bombed with the nuclear weapon Iran and maybe some other countries, in the region, Pakistan, Turkey, and why not the Arab countries of the region. So just imagine that we are talking about a very extremely bad situation in the for the whole world, effectively in the global level. But this is what's going to happen if we don't react, if we don't stop this complete madness of the Zionists, this huge destructive plan of Israel and the United States, and the whole world will pay the highest cost possible. I saw that North Korea started to talk about the nuclear world war. Nuclear world war, which means that the third world war will be nuclear. And all the scientists agree on this point that if it's the case, there won't be the least chance to survive, for any living being on this planet for millions and millions of years. Forget about humanity, forget about civilization. I'm talking about any living being somewhere on this planet if the nuclear world war starts and goes on. So that's why we can see that there are more and more, fortunately, more and more resistance by the ordinary people, which is excellent if it happens, and it's happening right now. We have a lot of news. The people right now are in the streets, in many cities, countries, in order to oppose effectively to this complete nonsensical war of the United States against Venezuela. And I think we should be aware about what Israel wants to establish effectively across the world. If you want to have an idea, this is it. That's very simple. The idea is complete denial of any boundaries, not being restricted or limited by anything legal or material or moral, ethical, nothing, absolutely nothing. Israel wants to be able to destroy whatever it wants, but whatever is the cost of that, whatever is the toll of death toll or casualties of that. So Israel wants to have complete open hand, and imagine that it's followed by the United States right now. So we have a couple, Israel and the United States, simply because of stupidity, because of nonsensical ideology, because of the interest and a lot of things like that, able to put an end to life on this planet, to the whole life. And I'm talking about life of every living being, including human beings, animals, vegetation, or whatsoever. So that's why, again, we have to organize ourselves. I mean the ordinary people, right, the nations. We have to mobilize, to organize, to stop this madness. Otherwise, we can be sure that we are on the verge of vanishing. I don't have any doubt that this foolish way, this foolish process is going to end up, destroying completely whatever we have built for 10,000 years. So that's why it's very important to follow every important news that's going on and ask this question: what can I do for stopping this destructive attitude of Israel, United States, or any other country that wants to put at risk the peace and subsequently the future of the humanity. Anyway, this is just the beginning. What happens in Venezuela is just the beginning. This is a quagmire, and we are going to have effectively, this is just 1% of the story that we know right now. 99% are coming, and that would be very interesting to follow up and to see how the things are evolving, and from that moment taking the lesson, and getting it as a warning, and knowing exactly what we have to do in order to save the planet, in order to save the life on this planet. Thank you very much for watching this video.